Negotiating a deal. So once you've carried out your market research, you've decided on your route to market, and you've managed to get some great interest from a local partner in the UAE, then it's the time to get down to the nitty gritty and agree a deal and move forward with a first order. This is a huge topic in itself and lots of ways in which this can play out. However, from our experience, here are some of the top key areas, top three, I would say, to take into consideration when you're negotiating a deal, particularly in the UAE and in general, the wider Arab world. Firstly, it's really important to get your commercials right. That goes back to your market research and understanding the competitor set that's out in the marketplace already and where your product fits in and the value proposition that you're offering with relation to that, which then mandates what the pricing should be, not only in terms of the retail shelf price, but then you also need to work through your route to market that you've chosen. So if you are working through a local partner rather than going direct to retail, for example, you need to make sure the margin requirements that are needed for the distributing partner plus the retailer will stack up and arrive at a shelf price that is also acceptable to the consumer. So making sure that your pricing is set out is important. Now, when you give your pricing to your, say, local partner, for example, it's also important to be really clear what that price does and does not include. So, for example, as we will see, the need to have Arabic labels on products, whether stickered or printed directly, is required for food and drink products. So usually for customers who do not have brands and manufacturers who do not have Arabic directly on their products already, there is the on cost to consider that, particularly if you're having to do that at source before you export your products. Also, the documentation requirements, there are usually costs involved with every consignment to produce those documents. So again, that's another factor to bear in mind when it comes to your overall margin. Plus, as well, remembering that depending on your route to market, there may be listing fees, marketing investment that is also required to get your brand into the marketplace and penetrated with activations and creating brand awareness, all of which requires more financial commitment too. So all of this needs to be bear in mind when considering on your pricing terms that you're offering. A final one also to throw into the mix there is your Incoterms and what you're selling on. Again, are you involved with any of the logistics part, either within your domestic market or into the UAE, for example, which obviously has a much higher cost in order to deliver those goods in, are you insuring those goods, etc., etc. So lots to consider there when it comes to pricing when negotiating your deal. Another aspect as well when it comes to the UAE and being a particularly small market is the subject of exclusivity. And a lot of partners will ask for that, at least for initial period. And it's fair to say that from our experience, this is usually the best way to go, to give those partners who are interested in your brand and building your brand in the UAE the necessary time to get retailer listings, to find new customers, and to bring the brand in and start developing that brand awareness. These things do take time. It is a small market, and therefore being able to work together with them and provide that comfort of exclusivity to go off and do what they do best within the UAE is something that you should be willing to offer, at least for initial period when working in this marketplace. A final area that's worth considering when it comes to negotiating a deal is whether there is a need to put a formal contractual agreement in place between you and your distribution partner. It's fair to say that in this part of the world, it's all about relationships and building that trust and transparency. As such, we've seen from our experience businesses doing great business in the UAE with local partners and without even having a contractual agreement officially in place. How has this worked? Well, they've spent the time investing in the relationship with their partners in the UAE and having that mutual understanding of how they're working and obviously overcoming any challenges and really kind of optimizing any opportunities they see in the marketplace together and really supporting each other to make this an overall success for both parties. Therefore, it's worth considering what's important to you as a brand owner when entering the UAE and the type of arrangement which you're comfortable working with as well. And bearing in mind that that relationship building aspect is really critical for the long-term success of your brand. Truth be told, there is so much to say around this topic of negotiating deals and getting commercials right, etc. As such, we will do a separate video on this aspect alone to be able to give you some more level of detail and some more considerations to take into account.